Hey everybody, wanted to give you a driving thought for today that you can just chew on while you're driving around, or something to think on while you're working through the day. It's in James chapter 5 verse 16, and we know the second half of the verse, but really it hinges on something that's very important. In the first half of the verse, it says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you might be healed. That's the first half of the verse, and a lot of people don't realize what's at stake when they're praying. And that verse says, confess your faults, and we don't really tend to teach on that or do that a lot. But it's okay to be vulnerable, to literally to open your heart up, especially to people that care about you. And there's something about being honest and confessing your faults, your sins. Actually, the word means your slips or your errors. And so when you're kind of open like that, what you're doing is you're helping kind of purify your heart. It goes on to say, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. There are prayers that avail much and prayers that don't avail much. And gosh, we shouldn't be spending a lot of time on prayers that are just wasting time and space. We need prayers that are moving things, prayers that are availing of the potential of the plan of God. And so that verse says, he goes on to teach a minute, verse 17, on Elijah. But before we kind of go forward through that, let's just look at that verse, the rest of that verse for a second. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man. The words effectual and fervent are actually one word in the Greek. It's the word energeo. And of course we get the word energetic from that, So it basically says the energetic prayer. So he says, confess your faults one to another, your slips, your errors, and pray for one another. We just don't do that enough. Why? That you might be healed. But he said, you're going to have to put some energy in your prayers. Mark Hankins always said, if it doesn't move you, it probably won't move God either. And you've got to put some energy into your prayer if you want it to happen. It doesn't have to be loud per se, but by God, you ought to mean it with all your heart. It doesn't have to be long and articulate either. When Peter was sinking, he said, Lord, pray, save me. He was sinking, and the Bible says Jesus reached out and grabbed a hold. Now, that wasn't a very long prayer, but you can be sure it was energetic. He put some energy in that, but Lord, save me, and he says, so that the effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man, that's a real important word there. The word, Greek word is dikaio, and it means an innocent or a just man, a holy man. And so that kind of goes back to the first half, where you need to be living open before God. Blessed are the pure in heart, they shall see God. There's something real important about preparing your heart for prayer, so that when you pray, you can put some energy in it, and you're really standing before God with a sense of holiness, purity, and innocency. Daniel chapter 6, I think it's verse 27 or 28, when the king Darius came to find out if Daniel had survived the night, his response was this. He said, O king, live forever. He said, my God has sent his angel and closed the mouth of the lions, for as much as innocency was found in me. And also before you, O king, I've done no harm. Innocency is a powerful thing, and we need to make sure that we allow God to speak into those things, and others as well, and that we live in such a way that we're open to correction from the Spirit of God, from our spouses, from our children, from our friends, from our church members. Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you might be healed. The effectual, fervent, the energetic prayer of a holy man, an innocent man, will avail much. May your prayers avail today. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, everybody. Have a good weekend. I hope to see you on Sunday night. Excuse me, start at 6. Bless you.